Hey, what's up, everybody? How you doing this evening? Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. As you come on in, please put your name in the comment box. Let me know that you can hear me and that you can see me clearly. So I'm just checking to make sure that you can see me and hear me. Boom, boom. So, hey, put in the comment box. Let me know if you can see me and if you can hear me clearly. I would greatly appreciate it. So, so great, guys. We're gonna go ahead and get started here. Technology. All right, all right. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. Hey, guys, welcome to today's training. I'm so excited and happy to share this information with you today. And hope you had a fantastic day today. And I always like to honor you and honor your time. So I am going to go ahead and get right into the training today and get started. And let me make sure. Boom, boom. Okay. All right. So if you would just let me know if you can see my screen. It should say how to invest as a beginner. That's obviously the topic that we're going to be talking about today. And this is a really, really important topic, especially right now. Many of you guys have probably heard that the inflation rate is somewhere around 9%. It hasn't been this high in the last 40 years or so. So, right now, many of us, I don't know about you, but many of us are in a place and we have a need to make sure that we are making our money grow. Okay. The only way that you're going to be able to meet your needs into the future going forward is you have to be able to have your money growing faster than inflation. Inflation is the rate at which your money is decreasing in value because the prices of stuff is going up. We know cars and food and gas and how dollars to be able to afford a standard of living. And so as a result, inflation is eating away at our money. So in order for us to be able to make sure that our money is growing, right, we have to make sure that it's growing faster than the rate of inflation. And one of the best ways to do that is for us to be able to invest our money. So today I'm going to go ahead and get right to it. I like to try to honor your time. And so let's go. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. So let me ask you, if you're watching today, if you feel like you are behind on your savings, if you feel like you're investing and saving for retirement or your future needs, if you feel like you're a little behind on that, you're in the right place. If you are working with a limited budget, okay, if you're not making a lot of money, don't worry. Guess what? You can still make the information I'm going to share with you work for you. So if you're working with a limited budget, great, you're in the right place. If you are confused and not sure how or what to invest your money in, guess what? You are in the right place. So if you don't know me, if this is your first time joining, my name is Alex B. Jones. I am a certified financial coach. I am also a licensed life insurance advisor, and I'm a #1 best-selling author. So that's a little bit of who I am. My mission is to help as many people as possible build wealth, create financial freedom so they can live their best life and leave a legacy for their family, which is what I'm going to be talking about today during this session. So let's go ahead. I'm going to get right into it. First, let me just deal with some myths about investing. What are some myths that you guys have about investing? Maybe you think that you have to have a lot of knowledge about companies, the economy, and which stocks to pick. So you may be thinking, I can't possibly invest because I don't know. I don't know about, companies. I don't know how to do the research. I don't know about trends and technical analysis and fundamental analysis. I don't know which stocks. Guess don't worry about that. You're in the right place. You might be thinking that you have to have a lot of money to invest, and that can't be further from the truth. You can get started investing with as little as $5 or $10, and I'm going to be talking about that today. And finally, you might be thinking that you have to have a lot of time. You gotta just about quit your full-time job just to come in and be able to watch the stock markets and sit in front of a whole bunch of computer screens to try to figure out, to try to watch over your money and figure out what you should be investing in. Guess what? You don't have to do that at all. And I'm going to show you how to make that happen. So, in this training today, you'll discover what you need to get started investing today, right? You'll also learn 3 powerful ways to easily invest without spending a lot of time and without having a lot of money. And then finally, you're also going to learn how to get stock market like returns tax free without the risk of losing your money in the stock market. That third one is a powerful one. You definitely want to stay tuned for that one. So, with that, let's go ahead and get going. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So, hey, what is the stock market? What is the stock market? Well, the stock market actually started in the late 1700s. And it was actually started, I think, either in New York or Philadelphia. I can't remember which. I want to say New York, but the actual first stock exchange actually got started in Philadelphia. So today, the two main stock markets in the US are the New York Stock Exchange and what's called the NASDAQ. It's the National Association of Security Dealers Automated Quotations Stock Market. Let me break that down for you very quickly. The NASDAQ, what that simply stands for, it means that they actually do not have a physical location or a physical place where stocks are being traded and sold. See, the New York Stock Exchange on Wall Street in New York City, right? They have an actual place where stocks are being sold and traded. You can also buy and sell them online, and the NASDAQ is all online. So those are the two main ones, and that's the difference between the two. Now, there are over 6,000 companies listed on all of the US stock exchanges. Remember, I said the two main ones are the New York Stock Exchange and also the NASDAQ. But there are also other ones. There's the one in Philadelphia, there's one in Boston, there are some in Chicago and other places, right? So all in all, you have over 6,200 companies that are listed on all the different stock exchanges. Okay. So, so the question is, how do you know how the stock market is doing? How well is the stock market? or how is it up? Is it down? Is it sideways? What's going on with it? And so maybe you guys have seen it where you might hear people talk about the Dow Jones, okay? Or you might have heard people talk about the S&P, all right? I'm going to explain to you what those are. So, when people want to know how well or how poorly the stock market is doing, what they've created is they've created a way to measure how well or how poorly the stock market is doing. And so, one of the measures for how well the stock market is doing is called the Dow Jones Industrial Average. So the Dow Jones Industrial Average takes the top 30 companies on the stock exchange and it averages those companies together with some type of mathematical computation. You don't have to worry about all that stuff, but it averages those stock prices together to get some idea of how well the stock market is doing. Okay? So the Dow Jones Industrial Average is gonna track the top 30 companies. All right. Now there's another one, the Standard and Poor's 500, or also called the S&P 500. Now what does it do? It actually tracks the top 500 companies on the New York Stock Exchange. So the Standard and Poor's gives a better representation or gives a better idea of how well the stock market is doing because it has 500 different companies all mashed together, right? To give you some idea of how well the stock market is doing overall. All right. And then finally, the NASDAQ takes into account all 3,000 of the stocks on the NASDAQ stock exchange. So you really truly have a good idea of how well the market is doing with the NASDAQ on the NASDAQ stock exchange because it takes into account all 3,000 of the stocks that are listed. All right. So let me know if this is making sense. Let me know if this is over your head. If you do have some questions, we want to be able to save them to the end, so you guys can. I'm going to have Q&A, so you can answer questions or ask questions, and so we can make sure that you're on the right track. Okay. All right. So now all of the companies that are listed, if they're listed on the New York Stock Exchange, if they're listed on the NASDAQ, if they're listed on some of the other smaller stock exchanges, all of the companies that are listed on these stock exchanges are going to fall under or be classified under one of these 11 different types of classifications. Okay. And so the top five, well, the first five or six, the first five, healthcare, the healthcare sectors. So you have companies that have been lumped into these are the healthcare companies. So one of that would be an example of Pfizer. Maybe you heard of Pfizer. You remember some time ago, COVID, we had the COVID vaccinations, right? And Pfizer was one of the pharmaceutical companies that came up with one of the vaccinations for COVID, right? So Pfizer is one of the healthcare companies. All right. So you see materials sector. Okay. Sherwin-Williams is a company that falls on the materials. Many of you guys know Sherwin-Williams is a paint company, right? They have some other products, I'm sure, but we mostly know them as a company that makes paints. All right. So next we have the real estate sector. One of the companies that are in the real estate sector is Simon Properties. Here in this area, Simon Properties actually has retail outlets and malls all across the country. They have one of the malls here, South Park Mall. So Simon Properties is an example of a real estate company in the real estate sector. Then next on the consumer staples, we have Coca-Cola, and I would imagine Pepsi would also be in that group. Okay. Then we have consumer discretionary. This is, again, consumer items or consumer companies, but these are items that people don't necessarily have to purchase or have to buy. Amazon falls into one of these, into the consumer discretionary category. What's next? Utilities. In this area, Duke Energy. Duke Energy is one of the utility companies. You might have Con Ed or any number of other utility companies that would fall under the utility sector. Energy, Exxon, oil company, energy sector. Industrial sector would be Boeing. Boeing is a manufacturer of airplanes, both commercial and military, right? And they also make other uh, other other items for the military as well, right? So Boeing would be one. Under consumer services, you have Google. Under financial sector, you have Bank of America. And finally, technology sector would be a company like Apple. All right. So this gives you an idea. All of the companies or any of the companies that you could possibly want to invest in that are listed on the stock exchange are going to fall under one of these 11 different categories. All right. All right. Now, what do you need to get started investing as early as today? First of all, one of the things that I always, as a certified financial coach, I always tell people one of the things you must understand first is what is your purpose for investing? Why are you investing? Are you looking to invest because you want to be able to retire one day? Okay, very, very important. You need to know that. Are you looking to invest so you can grow your money to maybe buy your first home, second home, or third home? Are you looking to invest to be able to send your child to college sometime in the future? You need to know and understand why and for what purpose you are investing. It's very important. Okay. Um, because at the end of the day, you want to make sure that your money stays in, right? It stays in so it has time to compound and grow. And when I say compound, what I mean is it has time enough to work so your money can make money, right? And your money can be making money on the interest that your money makes as well. But the only way it can happen is if your money stays in. If you're putting it in and taking it out and putting it in, it's not working, okay? Because it doesn't have time in the marketplace. All right. So next, you need to know what type of return do you think is reasonable that you should be looking for. I hear all the time people say some things like, "Oh, they want to double their money. They want to flip their money. They want their money to make money. They want to be able to get 100% return on their money in 30 days, 2 months, in 90 days or six." Listen, let me tell you something. If you are looking for big, huge outside gains and returns on your money, that means that you have to be putting your money in a place where it is very, very risky. And in all likelihood, you're going to lose your money. If that's the approach that you're taking, then chances are it's probably not going to work out well for you. You need to know, for instance, that the stock market routinely has on average over all of the years the stock market has been around, it's been averaging roughly around 8 to 11%, somewhere around there on average. Okay. So that just gives you a good idea if of what you should be looking for or what you should be shooting for in terms of return. If you're looking for some of these I want 25%, 30%, 50, 100% of my money. Listen, in all likelihood, you're about to lose your money. Okay. So you need to know and be reasonable and understand what type of returns you can expect from various types of investments. All right. What's next? You need to understand how much will you be investing and how often. unless you have a lump sum of money that you can put into something, right? In all likelihood, you want to be putting in, money consistently over a period of time. That's how it works, guys. You don't have to have a whole bunch of money. Even if you got $20 a week, right? Maybe you might say, "Hey, I'm not going to go to lunch with my friends and colleagues one day a week." And you take that 10 or 20 dollars that you would spend on lunch, and you put it in the stock market every week. At the end of the month, what you got, that's 40 or $80 that's going into and being invested, that now has the ability to grow for you over time. Those little bits of money put in consistently over time makes a huge, huge difference. Because again, the biggest part of the return that you're getting isn't from you actually putting a whole bunch of money in. It's you putting a little money, little bits of money in over time and allowing it to sit and stay in there, and time is going to do the rest. There's a saying that goes, it's not about timing the market, trying to figure out when to get in and when to get out and all that stuff. It's more about time in the market. It's not timing the market, it's about time in the market. That's the reason why I always say to people, as early as you possibly can, start investing. Our young people, if you're 20, 25, 30, the sooner you start putting in money and allowing it to sit and stay and grow over time, you guys are destined to be millionaires, okay? All right. In order to get started investing, you need to have emergency savings. Why is this important? So many times people put money in an investment, and they have these unrealistic expectations about what type of return they're going to get and how quickly it's going to come to them. And so for that reason, they put money in and they don't have any savings set aside. And then when something happens, right, where they need the money, now they're having to pull it out. And so, like I said before, the money isn't allowed to stay in the investment so it can grow over time. It's always being put in and taken out, put in and taken out. The thing that you want to do is you want to be able to put up, have your emergency savings, put some money aside so you have a cushion. And now you don't have to worry about pulling out money from your investment, because if you're doing that, if you're constantly pulling money out, it doesn't have time in the market. And then the second point is that you may be pulling it out at a time when it's not very advantageous for you to do it. And then the third part is, finally, if you are putting it in and taking it out, it can sometimes cause you to pay taxes on the gains that you have, or it's going to put you in a position where you wind up having losses. If you had just let the money stay, you wouldn't experience some of those things. Okay. And then you want to know and understand, how conservative or aggressive are you? The more aggressive you are, the more risky investments you're going to be putting your money in. It's going to be going all up and down. It's going to be like a roller coaster. It's going to be volatile, right? And if you want to be able to sleep well at night and sleep comfortable at night and not worry about your investments, you might want to be a little bit more conservative about the returns that you expect, and more conservative about where you place and put your money. All right. And then finally, of course, you need an investing account, an account that's your investment, and you need a funding account where the money will actually come from. And I'll talk a little bit more about that. All right, so let's get right to it. Let's get right to it. Now, here are the three ways you can start investing with little time and little money. The first way is with your employer's retirement plan. Your employer's retirement plan. So if you work for a company, your company may have a 401k. You may work for a nonprofit, they have 403Bs. You may work for the government, they have TSP retirement account. And you may work for a state, city, or local government, and they have 527 retirement plans. So if you work for a company, if you have an employer that you work for, if you haven't done so already, find out what type of retirement plan they have, and find out all the details, and find out if you can actually start participating. Okay. Um, the next investment fund, investment funds, particularly the index EFT. I'm going to be talking more about that. And then finally, life insurance. That is a big one, and we're going to get to that as the third one. Okay. 401ks, 403Bs, TSPs, 527 retirement plan. What exactly are these? These are your company may have a employee retirement plan available for you, and the company will work with an investment company. Your employer will work with an investment firm, and that investment firm will put together a menu of choices for you to choose from, for you to choose where you want to be able to put your monies so it can grow for retirement. Okay. Usually, the menu of choices are either going to be some selected stock market funds, or it's going to be company stock. You may be able to put your money and buy company stock. So those are usually the two main choices that 401ks, 403Bs, TSPs will have as a choice for you to make. So the great thing about that, it narrows down the options that you have, and all you have to do is look at the choices that you have in the 401k program or the retirement program, and you just kind of pick which one of these things do you feel most comfortable with, and which ones do you feel best about, right? So that makes it easy. It makes it really simple. And then all you have to do, if you're eligible to participate in the 401k and 403b, now all you have to do is decide how much you want to come out of your check, right? And then you hook it up and you say, hey, okay, all right, I'm eligible. This is how much money I want to come out of my check every week, every 2 weeks, or every month. You go through the process, you set up your 401k account, and then you pick which one you want your monies to go into. You can sometimes put it all in one, or you can split it up. All right. You know, you can decide. You got some options. And then that amount of money is going to come out of your check each and every week, 2 weeks, or every month, however often you get paid. All right. Now, the contributions that you make to this retirement plan, those contributions are actually tax deductible. And what's even better about this is sometimes your company will also match the contributions you make to the 401k plan. And that's the reason why that's one of the pluses about the 401k program. So let's say, for instance, for the entire year, you have put in, we'll say, $3,000 that came out of your check bit by bit every week, every month, every 2 weeks. So your company might say, hey, we will match what you contribute up to a certain amount. Maybe that certain amount might be 5% of your salary, right? So you might look and see, hey, for each dollar you put in, we're gonna match you dollar for dollar, or 50 cents, up to a certain amount. So let's say, for instance, you're able to put in $3,000 and it doesn't exceed the company limit. And if they say, hey, we'll match you dollar for dollar, they're going to put in $3,000 with you as well. So that's a total of $6,000. So, what you have just done in that instance, because you participated in the program, the $3,000 you put in was matched by the company's $3,000. So, just right there alone, even before you actually start investing your money has already doubled. Why? Because the company in this example has said they're going to match you dollar for dollar. And so, because you put $3,000 in, they have also put in $3,000. So now you got $6,000, which means even before your money has already been invested, you have already doubled your money. Can't beat it. And then all of that money, that $6,000, will go into whatever investments, stocks, or company stocks that you choose. That money is going to go in and it's going to be invested and it's going to be growing on your behalf. All right. Now, like I said before, the contributions are tax deductible in that given year and the company may match. All right. Now, what you're going to wind up doing though is you will have to pay taxes on it. You'll pay taxes on it down the road when you pull the money out because 401ks, retirement programs are designed for your retirement. They are not designed for you to put money in, for you to pull it out. For you to put a little bit in, for you to pull it out. It's not designed for that. And what they have is they have a little penalty in place that says, hey, this is supposed to stay in place until you reach 59 and a half years old. Okay. At which time, if you let the money stay in during that time, guess what? You won't have any penalties. You will have to pay taxes. But if you pull it out before you reach the age of 59 and a half, you're going to have to pay a 10% penalty. Plus, you're going to have to pay taxes on the money that you pull out. That's the reason why it's so important that you have emergency savings or savings on the side so you won't be tempted or you won't be in a position where you have to tap that money because it's supposed to stay there until you reach 59 and a half. Okay? All right. So I hope this makes sense. I hope you can easily see how this becomes a easy way for you to start investing because now you don't have to worry about trying to pick should it be this stock, should it be this stock, should it do this, should that. All you have to do is look at the menu of options that you have available, right, through your company's retirement program and pick which one of those are going to work for you. That's all you have to do. Decide how much you want to have put it taken out of your account, out of your check, each week, each month, each every 2 weeks, however you get paid. It's just that simple. Let them keep taking it out. It keeps growing. Hopefully, your company is matching. Okay, easy peasy. All right, let's go. What's next? So the next easy, low cost way for you to actually get started investing is investment funds. Particularly, we're going to be talking about index ETFs. Alex, what the hell are you talking about? Don't worry, I'm going to explain it all for you. All right. What are investment funds? Investment funds are an investment company will take and pool monies together and they'll put it together and they'll put it in a fund. Now that fund, the purpose of that fund is to buy, in this case, we're talking about the fund is going to buy a different assortment of stocks. Okay. And once they have that assortment put together, right? Once they got the money pulled together, right? They give you the opportunity to buy a piece of that fund. Okay. All right. Now, there are two main types of funds. There's a mutual fund, and then there is an electronically traded fund, ETF. All right. Now, what's the difference between the two? With mutual funds, the monies that's pooled together, right? They go out and then they buy stocks of these different companies, okay? But the idea is these mutual funds are professionally managed. They are professionally managed by money managers who are trying to figure out how to get bigger and bigger returns for the monies that's invested. That's a mutual fund. Now, electronically traded funds, what they do is they will invest in assortment of company funds, right? And the price of those funds, of that particular fund, actually, that particular fund trades on the stock exchange, either the New York Stock Exchange or the NASDAQ, and you would actually be buying a share of that ETF that's traded on the stock market. Okay. The mutual fund, you will be going to a mutual fund company to buy a share of their mutual fund. With an ETF, you will be buying your share like it's traded on the stock market. Two different approaches. One is more actively managed. One is really bought. It stays, it stays kind of static, but it's traded on the stock exchange. All right. Now, as it says right there, some funds are actively managed, like your mutual funds. Some of them are partially managed, again, like some of your mutual funds or what's called robo advisor accounts or target date funds. Those are kind of partially managed, or it can be indexed. It can be indexed. All right. This is going to be really important. All right. So I'm going to explain index now. And guys, let me know. Let me know. Make sure that you have your questions ready for me so I can answer them for you. All right. All right. What do I mean by indexed? Here we go. Here is where many people who have never invested in their life, here's where the problem comes in. Just imagine you're standing in the bread aisle at your local grocery store. And guess what? You are sitting there trying to figure out, man, if I asked you which one of these pieces of bread, which type of bread do you think is going to go up in price or go down in price next week? Now, you have a dough. I'm looking at all these different types of bread. That's where the confusion comes in. And that's where bread makers or stockbrokers or investment companies want you to feel like you don't have what it takes to choose which of these breads you should have in your basket. So instead of having to try to pick and choose and research each and every one of these different types of bread, which one is going to be up or down, and what is it going to do? Instead of doing that, you can actually figure out how to buy all of the breads. And then that way you don't have to worry about which one is going to go up or down. Because either way, you have made an investment in all of the breads. Makes sense? How does that happen? So, Warren Buffett. I don't know if this guy looks familiar to you or not, but Warren Buffett is this generation's, he is probably the most successful investor in modern history. Okay. This man is worth, he's probably, I think he's the fifth or sixth richest person on the planet. And Warren Buffett said his advice is to buy the index. To buy the index. Okay? So here's what I mean. What is an index ETF? So if we go back, if you remember, an ETF is an electronically traded fund that an investment company has put together that is traded on the stock market. All right. Now, the fund buys, or the investment company buys, different stocks that imitate what a benchmark does in the stock market. So if you remember, I talked about the S&P 500 as a measure of how well the stock market is doing. You remember I talk about the Dow Jones Industrial Average. It gives you a how well of how well the stock market is doing based on those top 30 companies. You remember I said the NASDAQ takes into account all 3,000 of the companies listed on its exchange, so you would have an idea how well the NASDAQ is doing. Well, an ETF will, an electronically traded fund can buy a basket of bread that that acts like and behaves like the S&P 500, that behaves like the Dow Jones, or behaves like the index, like the NASDAQ. And so what it does, what it allows you to do is the investment company that's making the ETF said, "Hey, I want a fund that performs like the S&P 500, or I want a fund that performs like the Dow Jones, or I want a ETF or a fund that acts like the NASDAQ." And so they put together a collection of stocks that looks like, that performs like one of the fun. Remember, I said it's like, instead of having to pick which stock is going to do what and when and how it's going to break out and pop and do all this research, you just buy the whole kit and caboodle. You can buy a sliver of the top 500 companies. You can buy a piece of the top 30 companies. You can buy a piece of those 3,000 companies on the NASDAQ, and you don't have to buy them individually, buy them from an index ETF. Right. So as you can see, a piece of bread, you're buying a piece of the bread aisle instead of trying to figure out which of these breads is going to go up in price, go up or down. You don't have to worry about that now. I hope this is making sense, guys. I really do. So, as I said, you now have you have a piece of all the breads with your investment in an index ETF. There you go. So now you don't have to worry about wasting time to try to figure out what the stock market is going to do here, what's it going to do over there, how it's going to, how it's going to perform over here. You don't have to worry about that now. I hope this is making sense. I hope this is making sense. Okay, guys? All righty then. All righty then. So let's keep it moving. Where can you buy an index tied to something else, tied to the performance of something else, indexed? Okay, that's all index means. It just means tied to. Where can I get an ETF that's tied to something else, tied to the S&P 500, that's tied to the Dow Jones, that's tied to whatever? You can come here to a company like Vanguard. Vanguard, as you can see, has investment products. ETFs is one of them. You can go here to Vanguard.com and you can find out all the different ETFs they have available. Okay, so that's one such company, and all you would be doing is you would be going to Vanguard, you would be deciding, do I want to open up a traditional IRA investment account, or do I want to invest in a straight brokerage account? And the difference is, if I do it with the traditional IRA, that means everything, all the contributions that I make into the fund, all those contributions would be tax deductible, and I won't pay taxes until later down the road when I either pull it out or I reach 59 and a half. Okay. All of my contributions and all of my gains will not be taxed until I reach 59 and a half and start pulling some of the monies out. At that time, I'll pay taxes on the monies that I pull out. Okay. Or you can just do a regular brokerage account, which is all about, it's just a regular investment account. It's with after tax dollars. So after you gotten your check, then you just decide, hey, I'm gonna take some portion of my money, I'm gonna put it in my IRA. I'm gonna put it in my investment account, and you choose which of the ETFs that you want your money to go into, and now set it and forget it. Here, Fidelity. Fidelity is another company. I realize the name isn't on here. So Fidelity, oh, here it is. Fidelity is spelled Fidelity. Fidelity. All right. You can look up Fidelity. And Fidelity, as you can see, they have traditional IRA accounts, they have rollover accounts, they have Roth IRA, they have all these different types of IRA accounts, or they have just regular brokerage accounts. I just explained that to you. And then Charles Schwab. Charles Schwab is another one of another company, right? As you can see here, Charles Schwab believes in the power of indexing because they know just how powerful it is. Why? Because it's simple. It's a simple, easy way for you to be able to invest instead of you trying to pick and choose and figure out which one of these stocks. You're trying to research all these different companies. Instead of trying to do all that, just buy a piece of all of the companies by buying a fund. So it's simple, it's low cost, and it's easy to do. Okay. All right. So now you got the first choice. You can actually invest through your employer's retirement account, retirement savings plan. Okay. Or you can create your own retirement savings plan with indexed ETF funds, electronically traded funds. Okay. These funds, you can put your money into these index funds. These index funds will be tied to the performance of one of the benchmarks, S&P 500, uh, Dow Jones Industrial Average, or whatever. You can choose what is indexed to, and you put your money in, and it is going to mimic or is going to imitate what that particular fund is doing, okay, in the market. All right. Now, what's the third way that you can do it? The third way that you can actually invest, and this is actually a very, very powerful way to invest that most people don't realize or don't understand. They're misinformed about what life insurance can actually do for you. Let me just go through it. So, life insurance, particularly the indexed, tied to the index universal life insurance. What is it? Index universal life insurance policy is a type of permanent life insurance that stays in force your entire life. Term life insurance It only is temporary and it only goes from anywhere from 10 to 30 years. Okay. Permanent life insurance is going you. Um, IUL life insurance provides a death benefit that you can use as living benefits. So it not only takes care and establishes an immediate death benefit if something should happen to you, but it also gives you the ability, if you don't pass away, if you get chronically injured, critically injured, or ill, you're able to actually access the death benefit while you're living for long term care needs, assisted living facilities, nursing homes, or you need somebody to come into the home to help take care of you. You can actually utilize your death benefit while you're alive. They are called accelerated living benefits. Okay. What else? Permanent life insurance, IUL in this case, also builds cash. Your cash value within your permanent life insurance can actually grow with the same rates that you get in the stock market. But your money is not directly invested in the stock market. And why is that a plus? Because there's no risk of you losing your money due to stock market losses. So, put another way, you get all of the upside and none of the downside. Put another way, once your money, your cash value inside your policy, once the value is up, like Cardi B say, it's stuck. Once it's up, it's stuck. You don't have to worry about you losing money or losing the value of your cash value due to stock market losses. So you get all of the upside, but if the stock market happens to lose like it's doing right now, you don't have to worry about it because your value locks in. Your money grows tax free based on the performance of the stock market, and you actually are able to get access to your cash value before you reach 59 and a half without penalties, taxes, and fees. Let me tell you, none of the other investment opportunities give you. You can't get that. You can't get it with the 401k. If you put your money in, it is supposed to stay there till you're 59 and a half. If you touch it or pull it out, you're going to have to pay taxes and a penalty because you put the money in. Somebody might say, oh, there's this such thing called the Roth IRA. Well, guess what? That is true. You can touch the money that you put in to your Roth before you 59 and a half or any time, but you can only touch the money that you put in. The monies that you actually your gains that you actually have within your Roth, you can't touch that money, right, until you reach 59 and a half. And you also have to make sure that it's been in that it had that it's been in at least 5 years. If not, you will have to pay a penalty on accessing that money in the Roth. So, what else do you have? Because your money is invested in the stock market with the 401k and the retirement program, and because your money is invested in the index ETF traded fund, then your money is actually subject. You're actually subject to lose your money if the stock market goes. IUL life insurance policy, this none of in place. You don't have to worry about any of those things. You get the upside, but none of the downside. Your money grows tax free. You can access it before you reach 59 and a half. Your performance is tied to the stock market, but you don't have to worry about losing your money because it's tied to the stock market and not directly invested in the stock market. So there are some amazing, amazing benefits to the IUL life insurance. And this thing by far, I think gives you more flexibility and it gives you more versatility than the other two options. But the great thing about it is, again, you do not have to worry about having to pick and choose which of the stocks do I need to invest in. How do I got to research this company. You don't have to worry about that now because with your IUL life insurance policy, all of those decisions are made once you say, "Hey, I want to index my return to the S&P. I want to index my return to the Dow Jones. I want to index my return." Once you pick it, well, that's it. You don't have to worry about it, and your money is going to grow based on the performance of whatever you choose. Okay, so it's really easy. It's really simple, and you can mix and match and change at any time. Okay, so there you have it, guys. Those are the three ways your company's or your employer's retirement savings plan. You can invest in an index, electronically traded fund or an indexed ETF, or you can actually get started investing with IUL life insurance. Okay. So if you have any questions about how to get started. If you want to be able to get started, but you're still not sure, feel free to schedule a private consultation with me, Alex. Excuse me. You can go to Calendly, CALENDY.com/Alex Allure. And you can schedule some time with me, and I'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you may have about these three options or any other options for that matter. And we can figure out which one is right for you and get and help you get started right away. All right. So there you have it, guys. I greatly appreciate you. Thank you so much for taking some time with me. Um, I hope this has sincerely helped in terms of letting you know you don't have to go through the hassle of picking and choosing which investment is right for you and when. There are ways that you can do that without having to spend a lot of time, a lot of research, and you don't have to have a lot of money to get started. So, all right, guys. So there you have it. Again, feel free to reach out to me at Calendly.com/Alex Allure to schedule a private consultation. I'll be more than happy to walk you through your options, your choices, and to help you get started. All right. So there you have it. Take care. God bless. We'll see you next time.